Now, there's been a major development in the race to replace Justin Trudeau. Former Bank of Canada and Bank of England Governor Mark Carney has finally announced what was expected. He's running for Liberal leader.
Now, I know I'm not the usual suspect when it comes to politics, but this is no time for politics as usual. No, it's not the time for lifelong politicians such as Pierre Poilievre. Politicians with bad ideas, naive and dangerous ideas.
Carney portrayed himself as an outsider candidate, something he's been doing and did during his interview with comedian Jon Stewart earlier this week. If chosen, he promises to build a stronger economy, citing his success helping Canada avoid the worst parts of the 2008 recession during his tenure as Governor of the Bank of Canada and his time working as Governor of the Bank of England. For more on this, let's bring in political analyst Stefan Dolger from Brock University. Stefan, polling has shown the economy is a top issue for Canadians. If selected as leader, will Carney's background in economics and business be enough to sway voters who already have decided they're going to support the Conservatives?
Well, I mean, clearly he has the background as former governor of these two important banks, but he's got a couple of really large problems. One is that the public just doesn't seem to be in the mood to entertain an extension of Liberal leadership. So the public is just kind of sick of Liberals at this point. The other big problem, though, I think is something that you could actually see in his, maybe not so much the appearance on Jon Stewart. I thought he did a pretty good job there. But just in his introductory press conference today, there was a little bit of awkwardness. And I think that awkwardness is, he's not used to speaking in public in the way that someone who has been an MP, has been in politics all their life, or not all their life, but a long time. He's just not used to that. And so being the governor of the Bank of Canada is just very different in terms of the way you present yourself to people than, being someone who would be potentially the leader of the Liberal Party and prime minister. So it's not clear to me that he's really going to be able to pull people over just with this, kind of expertise, which, he may indeed have that expertise, but is that going to be something that really translates to voters? It's really not clear to me.
He mentioned he thought Trudeau wasn't focused enough on the economy, but he didn't give a lot of specifics on what he meant. Why didn't he go harder against Trudeau?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it may be in part, kind of personal relationship. It may be in part that his plan is not that different from Trudeau's. We don't know. Maybe he's also just kind of keeping his cards, close to his chest. But it also may be that, again, because of the kind of leadership and the kind of roles he's used to, he's not used to trying to go hard at somebody, to distinguish himself from his competition in the way that a politician is just kind of naturally going to, see themselves as having to provide the voters with a reason for, why me as opposed to the other person. So he just may not have that sensibility yet.
He did sound like a bit of a politician when it came to Pierre Poilievre, not shying away from throwing a few attacks Poilievre's way. Do you think that he sees himself as the front runner in the Liberal leadership race?
I think probably he sees himself and probably Chrystia Freeland as the front runners. And so, I mean, it makes sense that he wouldn't say anything about other potential Liberal candidates at this point, since, we don't know precisely who's going to be there. But again, probably it will be Freeland soon, maybe even announcing on Friday. But it's not surprising that he wants the focus to be more on distinguishing himself from Poilievre and not from the other Liberals. Just at this point, there's time for that.
Now, speaking of Poilievre, the Conservatives releasing this new Carney attack ad. We're going to throw it up so our viewers can take a look at it. And Poilievre also, he took to Twitter to make several critical posts about Carney's previous support for the carbon tax. Do the Conservatives think Carney is their main competition in this?
Well, I think probably they think Carney and Freeland will be their main competition. So they're ready, they're ready for both of them. I do think I'm not sure who they prefer to run against, but I think they have a whole lot of ammunition against Carney because he can appear to voters as perhaps one of those elite, out of touch, ivory tower folks, even though he was, in the world of finance. But nevertheless, he's not out on the hustings. That has not been his background in politics. So I think the Conservatives are probably just as happy with either one, but yeah, we can see that, clearly it's going to be, I think, Freeland and Carney that they're really readying themselves for, although they're also going to try to paint them with the Trudeau brush. Whoever is going to come out, they're going to say this person is just like Trudeau.
Yeah, that certainly has been a theme from the Conservatives. All right, that's Brock University's Stefan Dolger. Stefan, thanks very much.
Thank you, Matt.